Hello guys and dolls, my name is Zelia Lorene and welcome to my podcast, Conversations with Zelia. Today is Saturday, August 10th, 2024. Now, the topic of this podcast is a topic that I've been interested in for the last few years called pretty much discussing Michael's love life. As you probably know from watching my biopic rant episode, I am a huge MJ fan and I've been a fan of it since I was a kid. And the one aspect that I was somewhat curious about and learned more about in recent years was his love life. Because his love life is pretty much is not barely covered by the media and or distorted by the fans. So yesterday I conducted an interview with an MJ fan to pretty much discuss Michael's love life since she was well researched in that aspect of Michael's life. So I hope you enjoy the interview. And I should also preface that there were some earlier technical difficulties in the interview, and that the interview is very lengthy. So here you go. So relax and enjoy this very detailed and informative interview with my special guest, Belinda. Hello, Belinda.
Hi.
Welcome to my show, Conversations with Zelia. And your host is Zelia. And
Thank you for the welcome.
Thank you. And I just wanted to welcome you to my show and allow you to introduce yourself.
Sure. So, my name is Belinda, and I do a podcast on Michael Jackson called Michael Jackson and the True Podcast. I've been doing that since 2020. And I am currently working on the next episode. And the podcast is pretty much about the truth about his life. Is actually a derivative of a blog I did on Michael called Michael and the Truth. And I don't do that blog anymore, so I do the podcast. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so the reason I invited you on here because I've been familiar with your blog for a few years, and that's how I learned a lot about Michael, like the real truth about the surrogate and who his friends were in Hollywood and all of that. And right. I wanted to do a podcast episode on Michael's love life because there's a lot of people that don't really know about it, and plus it's like half of the fan community in the media, they don't want to acknowledge it, and plus it's obvious it's not going to be represented in the movie. So how should we start it? Let's just talk about it. Whatever question you got, I hopefully got the answers for you.
So, can I read the promotional guy's the message he wrote on the forum? Okay, and tell the origin story of it.
Okay. So what happened was, back in 2004, there was a guy named Scott Thorson, that's his name, who was the lover of the piano player Liberace. And this is around the time the allegations was happening, and it was before the trial. So it was like a whole year before the trial. And the craziness of the mainstream media just started with the nonsense. And one of it was this man's crazy story about Michael having child porn. He was gay. It was all this other nonsense. Turned out to be false. And then on the National Enquirer message board, there was a gentleman whose moniker on there was named Filthy. And he claimed that he was he was a promotional guy. He did promotion for Michael from 1981 to 2003. And before that, he worked for Joseph, Michael's dad, for promotions. And then Then by 81, he started working for Michael exclusively up till he had to retire in 2003. He told his story. He decided to come forward because he was disgusted with the lies. And he told the story. I can find where, if I can read the story online, because the full story, I clicked, okay, found it. So, yes, I posted. Now, I made a whole draft. I made a whole document on Google Docs of all the links for certain things I was looking for, including the links you sent me on my blog, so you can use it for your references when you want to refer it on your podcast. Okay, so it's not okay. So when I click on the link, it's from the website LaCienicasmiled.wordpress.com. So the individual who did this podcast, who did this blog, saved all the saved the stuff, and I'm gonna read and break it down. Now, one thing that really gets to me is that it was called a letter. It's not a letter. It was a post that was posted on the National Enquirer message board in 2004. That message board no longer exists. Out of nowhere, it just stopped working. I'm also going to tell you that I also spoke to this individual as well. The person who made the post on the National Enquirer. And then I found out some information about him, I guess a year ago, that made me think maybe he's not a promotional guy. So I'm going to read it and then tell you what I was told, what I asked him, and when I compared my notes to another person who also spoke to him. Hold on a minute. I saved those information on another thing I did. A fault of himself. His masculine wonders. He's quick to believe in their history. By Scott's advances. Comes now. Wait, but it first part. However, he has tried his best to be accepting, and because he tries to be Christian. I know.
Is something going on with your mic?
Hello?
Hello, I'm still here.
That would be it. I turn the speaker off. Yeah, it's very annoying. Why aren't you asking? What does that mean? Sorry about that. Hello?
I'm still here.
Echo. Alright.
Is there any technical problems going on?
I'm trying to find out why there's an echo.
Belinda, are you still there? Is there any way to pause this video? Excuse me, y'all, for the long wait. My guest is having technical difficulties, and we'll be right back with you. What is going on? Okay.
So we record again.
So you were continuing on in regards to Filthy's information.
Mm-hmm.
And can I read what he wrote in the forum or message board?
Yes, and let me make it very clear. It was not a letter. It was a post he made on the National Enquirer, which is a tabloid message board, back in 2004. And he did that out of anger and disgust because Scott Thorson, Liberace, former lover, was lying on Michael. He was on court. He was a show called he was on Larry King Live, and he was on Court TV lying on Michael. That's when the guy decided to go ahead and come forward and say what he said.
Okay. So let me break this down for you people.
Sure.
And pay attention because I don't like doing it more than once. Michael Jackson is thoroughly heterosexual. He does not like men. He does not like boys. He likes women over the age of 18. Shit, even before he was 18. He liked women well over the age 18. It's no secret in certain circles that Diana Ross was his first. The poor guy thought he was going to marry her, but she effed him over with Gene Simmons and Arnie Naez. He was pretty naive back then, so he chose not to see the obvious. Then he was celibate for about 3 years before becoming involved with a pretty blonde employee of his, an actress from a popular 80s, early 90s sitcom, a singer that nobody cares about anymore but was the ish back in the day, some groupie/secretary, June Chandler, the mother of punk bitch Jordan who got jealous about his relationship with Michael, and of course, Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie was the only one he allowed himself to become more than just sexually involved with, since Diana, that boy, was sprung. Lisa Marie, however, led him to believe they would have a family of their own, but stayed on a pill anyway, because even if she says she was a rebel, the little biatch didn't want Mommy Dearest to get mad at her for having a little black kid. Mike found the pills, split. messed around with a couple of other women with the goal of getting one pregnant just to hurt Lisa. He can be an a-hole sometimes, true. And eventually knocked up Debbie, which, if I didn't love and adore his children and think they saved his life, I would say was probably one of the biggest mistakes of his life. He was never faithful to Debbie after they married, never even wanted to marry her. But Mike doesn't like to break his brother's heart. He and Lisa continued having sex until 1999. They weren't together, they were just effing until he met his third child's mother and felt very much in love with her. But he is his father's son, so he wasn't entirely faithful to her, which is why they split up shortly after she found out she was pregnant. From that time on up until right before these new BS allegations broke, he was pretty much a dog. No attachments, just ex. He had no time to get attached to somebody and then depressed again after they part ways. Now that he has his children, I doubt he has time for anybody other than his children and his lawyers. Now, there, you have it. Take it or leave it. But it's the truth. Mike would hate me for putting his business out there like this, but at least it's accurate, unlike all the other trash getting around now. He ain't my boss anymore, so he's just gonna have to put up with it. So, and I also read in your blog post that you got more information from Filthy.
Yes. Now, he also said in this website I'm on, WordPress.com, he also said when he was responding, the Filthy guy was responding to messages on the message board, he said, one, he's weird, he's rich, he's black, and he never bows down to anybody. He doesn't fit any stereotypes of what a black man should be, which makes people uncomfortable and enables them to believe anything sinister about him. If you need proof of that, just look no further than this very message board. I think I outlined most of the girlfriends for you. If you think hard enough, you could probably figure out names, but it's not my job to spoon this to you. He kept Diana a secret because that's what the hussy wanted, and by the time he got his shit together enough to move on and get with other women, he was so obsessed with his privacy here, he didn't want the public to know anything about him that didn't have to do with music or business, and rightfully so. Everything he does is just constructed, manipulated, and taken out of context. Can't help you there. That's something that you don't really discuss with Michael. This is regarding his plastic surgery. All I can say is that it got more out of hand after he and Diana were officially no more. Nobody around him ever condoned it. I know, I certainly didn't. In all the fairness to the kid, most of it is exaggerated. He had a lot, but to fairly localized area. None of this crazy cheekbone, eyebrow, eyelid, forehead stuff. But what does plastic surgery have to do with whether he's a pedophile or homosexual? Nothing. He got a good heart. I don't give two shits about his face. So that's it. Now, this is what. Okay, sorry, I hurt myself from work. Anyway, so this is what happened. So when I saw the post, I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to talk to him." This was 2004. I was like 20, and I said, "Okay, let me go talk to him." And I did, and I talked to him through the private messaging thing on the message board. And so the message board itself started to act weird, and all of a sudden it was gone. So I thought that was strange. So I remember getting into what he was talking about. So getting into the information, he was not trying to spoon feed me. I was really out here figuring it out. So let's get into, we know about Diana Ross, okay. Let's get into celibate for 3 years. So he was not having sex for 3 years. I can believe that. He got involved with a pretty blonde employee. I did not ask him about this, but I was told it was Karen Faye. I don't believe it because, as you all know, Karen Faye's a nut job, but okay, what did she look like back in the day? Was she flumpy looking? Yes. I do know Karen Faye did tell somebody that she and Michael did kiss. And I do remember somebody asking the promotional guy about Karen Faye. He said that Michael had a crush on her. So that could be the one he's referring to. But she does freelance. So she wasn't technically an employee. So who knows? But I mean, apparently it's Karen Faye. Now, an actress from a popular 80s, early 90s sitcom. This is where I had to remember all the sitcoms that were out in the 80s and ended in the early 90s. So 80s, I thought of The Cosby Show, A Different World, Empty Nest. So I start with The Cosby Show. Michael is mostly located in California. The Cosby Show was taped in New York. So I was also thinking, okay, could it be? It's not Lisa Bonet because she was way too young. It's not the children or children. So could it be Sandra's character, the woman who plays Sandra? No, even though they're the same age or the same year, it's not her. And plus, the show was done in New York, so though we have to eliminate the Cosby Show. Empty Nest was a TV show that an actress named Christy McNichol was on. Christy McNichol and Michael used to hang out back in the late 70s, early 80s. But Christy McNichol is a lesbian, so it can't be her. So I eliminate her out. Now we have a different world. It started in 1987 and ended in 1993. And so I looked at the cast from that show, the women. Lisa Bonet was on there for like 2 seasons and she left. Dawn Lewis was on there. Cree Summer was on there. And then Jasmine Guy was on there. I said, wait a minute. I remember hearing a rumor that of an NSA reporter named Flo Anthony, I don't know if you ever heard of her. Flo Anthony said that Michael and Jasmine Guy would flirt with each other. And I never forgot that rumor. So I said, maybe Jasmine Guy is the one. So I went and I asked the promotional guy, okay, is the actress Jasmine Guy? And he told me, yes, it is Jasmine Guy. So I said, okay, so let's leave that. Now we get into a singer that nobody cares about anymore, but was the ish back in the day. I have to list every singer I can think of that was not Janet Jackson, that was not Madonna, and that was he dated her in the 90s, so it wasn't her. So every singer out in a group, all races, because at the time I did not pin down the race because he didn't do it on there. So the only way I can figure out who could it be, and it didn't matter what genre. He said it was a singer, so it didn't matter what genre they sang, it was a singer. So who could it be? I had to break it down into race. So I asked him, what race is the woman? Because that's the only way I can figure this out. He said the woman was redbone. Now, redbone is a term for a black woman who's very light-skinned, or black person who's very light-skinned, almost white passing. The only person I can think of that would fit that look is the singer Pebbles.
That's what I thought of. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's what I thought of.
It's all right. You can do that. It's your podcast. It's Pebbles. Here's the problem. They have the same birthday. That's good. I found this out on Twitter. But Pebbles never met Michael. She's good friends with Brenda Ritchie, who's good friends with Lana Ritchie. That's why we're good friends, very good friends with Michael. But she never met Michael. That's what she said. But they share the same birthday. So Pebbles had to be taken out because she never met him. And at that time, in the late 80s, she was dating L.A. Reid. So it wasn't working out. She was mostly based in Atlanta, and Michael was mostly based in L.A. and other places, but not Atlanta. So I had to eliminate her. I don't know who the singer is. I list everybody. And when he broke it down to just this type of woman, the only person I can think of was Pebbles. She's redbone, but she's not a mixer. She's actually fully black. She has black parents, black mother and father, but she's very light skinned. So she was the only one I could think of that would fit it, but it's not her because she said she never met Michael. So I had to eliminate her. So I don't know who the singer is. Then groupie secretary is not Shannon Monaghan. The reason why I thought it was too. This was at the time before she was exposed as a liar, way before she was exposed as a flat out liar. She was some woman that came forward saying she dated Michael. We were at the time, we were like, oh, okay, good. A black woman finally saying something we want to hear. Turned out she's a liar. She's a fraud. So we all thought it was Shannon Monaghan. Now he did say to me or to somebody else that what Shannon said was partially true. But we all know now that thanks to her stupid book, none of it happened. She never had a relationship with Michael. So he might be confused with somebody else. So the groupie secretary could be a Korean American woman. But again, I don't know who she is. So it's not Shannon Monaghan though. So we can pretty sorry believe. And then he gets into June Chandler. Now, I was told before the promotional guys information. I was told by a man I used to communicate with. Ironically, lives in Philadelphia like I do, but we don't talk anymore. But she told me herself that she believed that Michael and June Chandler had a relationship. And at first, when I heard that, I was like, hell no. Why would he have a relationship with the mother of his accuser? But it makes sense. It makes sense. So I said, okay. Then when the promotional guy mentioned it, I was like, okay, this might be true. So I'm going to leave that alone. I think it's true. I think they messed around. Regardless of how accurate or credible this information is, I do believe that Michael and June messed around. So I'm going to leave that alone. Now, Lisa Marie Presley. Lisa Marie Presley and Debbie Rowe, the women he married, I'm going to need people to stop trying to make it credible. Lisa Marie destroyed any ounce of credibility of her marriage when she did that 2003 interview with Rolling Stone. She destroyed it. Yeah. Like, you cannot defend that because she basically said the man is a manipulator, he uses people, and he's calculated. Everything Michael is not.
And
she attacked that man.
And the crazy part is, like, the majority of the fan community, they romanticized that relationship when it barely lasted 2 years.
Right. But see, they go by this. Okay, well, he met her when she was a child. Okay, that doesn't mean it's for real. She was a fan. She was a fan of the Jacksons. So, of course, she met him when she was a child through her father. Okay, what does that mean? That doesn't mean it's a love affair. They were, first of all, the main reason why it can't be is not genuine is because she's a Scientologist. Was not living anymore. Or before she passed away, she was no longer a Scientologist. She was a Scientologist. And when you're a Scientologist, if you marry someone, they have to be a Scientologist. And this is where it gets weird, because he kept going on about, Michael found out about the pills and he split. I don't think this even happened. And I'm going to tell you what I found out. I found out that Scientologists will not have a child with a person who's not a Scientologist. In other words, Michael's not a Scientologist. He didn't want to be. So, Lisa Marie could not have kids with him, since he's not a Scientologist. And you really think about it, the famous people who are Scientologists all have children with Scientologists. And also their husband and wife are Scientologists. Michael was never a Scientologist. He never wanted to be. So we can't believe this story about Michael finding out the pills that he split and trying to get children from Debbie, because Presley cannot have kids with a person who's not a Scientologist.
May I add on to that?
Sure.
Like at two things. Like, I remember watching some videos on Scientology, and pretty much I thought about the whole Scientology thing, like knowing how cults work. Lisa Marie, she probably fell in love, if we believe her story, that Scientology forced her to break up with Michael. That more likely that if we believe her story, that Scientology forced her to break up with Michael, which I doubted. That she claims, even though you should take it with a grain of salt, that Scientology took advantage of her marriage to Michael to pretty much convert him, which I doubt or don't believe.
Yeah, I don't believe that, because how can they destroy the marriage if he wasn't a Scientologist to begin with? He never was going to be a Scientologist. It didn't matter. So I don't believe Scientology destroyed her marriage at all. I think Lisa Marie and her mother was trying to get Michael to be a Scientologist to promote the quote with using his fame. Just like Victor Gutierrez, a tabloid hack clown from an illegal alien that came to America and worked for the tabloid, wanted to use Michael's fame to promote pedophilia. It's the same thing with these weirdos using Michael's fame to promote Scientology, to get the young people to go and be Scientologists. Because Michael's one, I should be one too. And another thing that somebody brought up on Twitter that I never realized is that the reason why they really want to promote Michael and Lisa together like this is so they can get Michael fans to become like Elvis fans, like help in some twisted way help promote Elvis's fame, Elvis's legacy. You know, because at one point Riley was Michael's stepdaughter, so, and she's very close with the Jacksons. So they want to, you know, someone was implying that it's possible that John Branca is trying to use the fame of Michael Jackson and his fans to help promote Elvis in a way. And that's not going to happen because Elvis don't need MJ fans. Elvis has the mainstream media. He doesn't need the MJ fan community. So, I mean, this marriage is more about, you know, promoting stuff instead of actual love affair. Because the one thing when you read up on the relationship, she trashes a guy constantly. Then she does not talk about any of the good things that what made her marry him, all that. Now, Jimmy Jam did an interview with a guy named Elvis, or Elmo. His name was Elmo. And in the interview, his wife, her name is also Lisa. She asked Lisa Marie. This is when Michael was recording the History album with. He was recording the History album. Jimmy Jam and Terry was producing it. And his wife, Lisa, asked Lisa Marie, "What did you see in Michael? What was the thing you saw in Michael?" And Lisa Marie told her that Michael was the kindest man that she ever met. And I thought to myself, okay, why don't you tell people this in the Rolling Stone interviews or any interview you did talk about this man? Why didn't she say that about him in these interviews? It makes you wonder what would make a person be so nasty that they would go and say these things about somebody that did nothing to them. I found out some crazy shit about her and their relationship. I'm not going to say because it's private. I do talk to people who knew Michael, so I'm not going to put their business out there, but it's fake. The marriage is fake. His marriage, second one is fake too. But the promotional guy, I think, and I'll get into why I'm starting to now believe the promotional guy's information might be accurate, but I don't think it's all true because there's some things that turn out to be false based on the stuff he said. But anyway, so not to say too much about Presley, I don't believe it was that big of a deal. I also don't believe this thing that they messed around after the divorce. I think that's a lie. I think that what she said on Oprah can't be true. The interview she did with Oprah, I don't believe it was like that. I think it was Lisa Marie was trying to get in touch with Michael because she missed him or she wanted to hang out with him, and she used her children when they were younger, Riley and Benjamin at the time, to get connected to Michael. There's video of the time Michael went to South Africa with his parents and Lisa Marie and her children and Omar and his family, and it's on YouTube. You can watch it. And a lot of fans really like that video because it shows so-called love affair or the love connection they have. Not really. It's more about Presley trying to get connected to Michael, using her children to do so. So that's what I think. And then there's no evidence that they were talking after 1998. May
I have one more thing with regards to her children? Sure. And according to an interview Riley did, if this interview is true, she was mainly raised by her dad, which makes you wonder something.
When did she say that?
I remember seeing that she stated this in an interview when discussing her upbringing, how she was mainly raised by her dad.
That's odd. I didn't know that. That is telling. That is very telling. Because Lisa Marie, all of her, see, this is the thing her fans like to ignore about her, that she was nasty to all her husbands. The first one, Michael, Nick Cage had problems with her, the actor, and the last husband, she falsely accused the last husband, Michael's also his name, Michael Lockwood, of molesting his children that he had with her. But he got custody of the kids. So, if he's a child molester, why does he have custody of the daughters. So it makes you wonder what's really going on. And what you just said shocked me because I didn't even know that. So Riley said that in a recent interview she did?
I think it was an interview from years ago.
Okay. Because I know she said that Neverland felt more like a home than Graceland did. This is very interesting. And none of these Lisa Marie Presley fans bring it up. They always want to bring up, Lisa Marie showing us how Michael was in the relationship. No, she's not. Lisa Marie is making up stories because she knows what Michael knows about her, what she knew rather. What Michael knew about her is not good, and it's not good. I've been told some horrible stuff. But her book that her daughter is doing or finishing, going to promote very soon. I'm not going to pay attention to that book. I don't believe anything that she says. This is not to trash the deceased. May she rest in peace. But I'm not going to believe anything she says in that book regarding Michael.
And may I add something on Priscilla, because this is something I thought about last week regarding Priscilla. She had the nerve to claim that Michael married Lisa McLeod, but yet she had no problem with Lisa marrying Nick Cage, who was a huge Elvis fan. And that's something that popped in my head. Like, she had a problem with, like, everyone on Lisa's side of the family, they were, like, bashing Michael, including her so-called born-again Christian step-uncle, who was, like, selling horrible stories in tabloids. And Priscilla, she had a nerve to accuse Michael of using Lisa Marie Cloud when she should be the last person stating that, since not only did Priscilla live off a man that she wasn't even married to, but she didn't have a problem with Nick Cage marrying Lisa despite Nick being such a Elvis fan.
Priscilla is so crazy at this point. I mean, this lady was fighting her granddaughter when her granddaughter is grieving the death of her mother. The lady is twisted. Michael was the biggest star ever in the 90s. Until you know what that's like, anybody that didn't study Michael just don't get it. Priscilla is crazy. Lisa Marie, people didn't even know Elvis had children. Because when Michael married that daughter of hers, he put her on the map. I didn't even know Elvis had kids until Michael married her. Everybody was a Michael Jackson fan. Nobody was an Elvis fan. So the media shoved this oldest man down our throats in the press, as if, because they didn't want to accept that the pop star was a black man. They didn't want to accept that. So of course Priscilla will say some nonsense like that doesn't make sense. Your daughter was nothing compared with what is she? She's not a star. She has nothing in her name but the body of Elvis Presley. Why would Michael need someone with no faith? They're the ones that wanted Michael to join Scientology so that he can put Scientology on the map. Why would Michael need Lisa Marie? Who is she to Michael Jackson? A guy who sold hundreds of thousands of millions of copies of albums, the best-selling album of all time. I mean, I can go on and on. Everybody in the whole world knows who Michael Jackson is. I mean, Priscilla is crazy. Crazy ninja. And then she's writing a book. She's gonna trash Michael the book. Her useless son trashes Michael. Michael don't know that dude. Running around calling him a child molester. Elvis is a child molester. Get out of here.
Yeah, can we, should we move on into the surrogate or just skip her over?
Well, first of all, I want to focus on the surrogate, Debbie. I want to focus on, let me quickly say this. Debbie, if someone's asked me who's worse, Lisa or Debbie, I say both are worse in different ways. Because Debbie, first of all, Michael and Debbie had no romantic relationship. Probably never had a friendship. Debbie, and I did the expose on Debbie on my blog. I want people to check it out when they get a chance. Debbie is one of the worst things that ever happened to Michael. Michael had no business being around Debbie.
I agree.
She pretty much poisoned this man to get him to do something she don't want to do. She was so unprofessional. First of all, when I was doing my research on the Debbie situation, the one thing that bothered me was that Dr. Arnold Klein, whatever, is a quack. He wanted the people that work for him to be called nurses and not medical assistants, which is extremely misleading because the media kept calling Debbie a nurse, and she never went to school for nursing because you have to be an actual nurse and you have to go get a degree and do it. And she is not a nurse. She was a medical assistant. So they kept calling her a nurse. And I'm like, stop calling her a nurse. She is not a nurse. She's a medical assistant. Now, medical assistants are certified. And Debbie would do things unprofessionally. For example, she would inject Michael with cellulite, which she's not supposed to. The doctor's supposed to do that. And Dr. Klein would have problems with Debbie because Debbie would do things unprofessionally. For example, Debbie would go and talk to Michael's primary doctor about whatever, even going on tour with Michael when no one asked her to do that. She just injected herself in doing that, even telling Karen Faye to give Michael drugs when he's in pain. And you mean to tell me you want Karen Faye to bring drugs into another country, which is illegal, and to get you in jail just to give him pain medication for what? And the doctor told Karen Faye, you can't do that. She can't tell you that. That's illegal. You can go to jail. So Debbie was a crazy lunatic who really, when she was first coming out and was being known, she would get her friends to go to the press and say all these things that turned out to be lies about her relationship with Michael. I mean, just anything to make it credible. I am starting to think this, when she tried to imply that Michael, when Debbie was pregnant with one of the children, Michael was on tour with Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie joined him. She was implying that they had like a love triangle. There's no love triangle because Michael was not in a relationship with Lisa at the time, and Debbie and Michael were not living together, and they were not. Yes, they were married legally. They were married, but they were not living together, and it wasn't a love triangle. Debbie, I think, said that to make whatever she had with Michael credible. Debbie, according, if you believe Karen Faye, Debbie wanted to marry Michael, and she got pregnant. And the people who were promoting his history tour, because they're Arab and they have traditional values, they did not want to promote Michael, help him with his promotion of his tour, if he's out here having children out of wedlock. So they told Michael to marry Debbie. And that's what happened. Debbie was pregnant with Prince at the time when she married Michael. So that's how they got married. It wasn't like, oh, Michael wanted to marry this lady. So I'm not going to, anybody that thinks Michael and Debbie had this great relationship, I guess they like to ignore that Debbie, when she testified in the trial, she did not defend Michael in the trial. She was going to trash him. She was a prosecution witness,
which is sickening.
Which people ignore because she's so-called defending him. She didn't defend him. What happened was Tom Mesereau had binders of information that was going to expose Debbie. And Debbie did not want it out there. So she flipped on the prosecution and started telling the truth just to cover herself. Now, a year later, after Michael was vindicated, and no, she did not help him get vindicated. By the time the prosecution side of the case was over, the jury already made up their minds about Michael. They were going to vindicate him. So that's that. Anyone that says, oh my God, this Wade Robson character made sure Michael didn't go to jail is a lie. The jury already made up their mind about Michael before Debbie testified, before the defense put their side of the story out there. So, now, a year after Michael was vindicated, Debbie tries to imply or files a claim that Michael kidnapped his children, that he has full custody of, all because of custody. She wants money, and not because is the kids okay? No, they're okay. So what's going on? She wants money. And she went as far as to falsely accuse Michael of kidnapping his children. Once you do that, there's no way of being in Michael's good graces. After Michael was murdered, Debbie would start to bother Catherine and Joseph, even filing lawsuits, because she wanted to see how the kids were doing. It's another way of Debbie trying to get some type of arrangement going, because she wanted to see where her money was at. That's why she did what she did.
Didn't Debbie make a statement saying that she didn't want the children that she was a deadbeat mother to near their grandfather?
Yeah, she did say that. I forgot you. Thank you for inviting me. She didn't want them near their grandfather, but they already bonded with him years ago. Debbie didn't want anything. And Arnold Klein also said he didn't want Michael's kids anywhere near Joe Jackson. Well, Joe Jackson was already bonding with his kids, and he had a great relationship with Michael's children and all of his grandchildren. And I'm not a Joe Jackson supporter. I'm just stating facts. He had a great relationship with all of them. All of them had a great relationship with him. These crazy people are just angry that Michael didn't want anything to do with him anymore. Michael didn't care for Debbie. He didn't care what she was doing. He just wanted her out of here. And he didn't care. I mean, so Debbie's a surrogate. I'm not calling her a mother to anyone. I don't like Debbie parents, so I'm not going to call somebody a mother because they gave birth to children. She would go to the press and tell the press things about Michael that was none of their business. She's also friends with the media. She's friends with Harvey Levin from TMZ. She knew Harvey Levin since 1988. She's friends with people who did Entertainment Tonight, producers of Entertainment Tonight. She's friends with some people who work at Us Weekly. These are publications that trash Michael. So Debbie doesn't care. She doesn't care about Michael or her children. I don't even know if Princeton Paris even talked to that lady. But at one point Paris did, but I don't know what's going on. I don't follow Michael's kids, so I don't know what connection they have with Debbie. I know when I was looking at who Debbie was following on Twitter, she was following Tito's sons and one of Randy's sons. I'm like, why are they following this crazy woman? So, if the Jacksons as a whole do talk to her, as long as they can do what they want, because, they can talk to her. She should not be praised in the fan community at all. So anyway, I don't want to get off topic, but that's the bottom line with Debbie and Lisa Marie. They're going to be fans that are going to say they had this great relationship, and Michael and Lisa Marie is a love affair. It's not. I don't know what Lisa Marie is going to say in the book, but I know it's not going to be true. Yeah, because it can't be true. Maybe at one point Michael did like her. I can believe that. But when Lisa Marie did the interview with Rolling Stone, she was angry that Michael did not want to be a Scientologist and do what she wanted him to do. That's where the anger came from. I mean, why? I mean, if he stopped talking to you by 1999, or communicating with you by 1999, why are you still angry by 2003 talking about him? Why are you still angry? So something is wrong with that. Plus, she had an album coming out and she was talking about him in his music. So, I know there are going to be people that say, well, you weren't there, you don't know this. I don't care. Because the way I look at it, it's not about how long they knew each other. Michael can have sex with anyone he wants to have sex with. That's his business. If he was messing around with Lisa before he married her, so what? That doesn't mean that the marriage was real. That doesn't mean that it was genuine, because Lisa Marie already told people that what she had to tell me about Michael. On top of that, there are going to be people that say, well, if you say that you're trying to imply that Michael married Lisa Marie months after he settled in 1994. So you're trying to say the marriage is fake. You're believing in the media narrative. The marriage is fake. But I don't care what the media thinks about Michael Jackson. A media that makes up some. Michael had girlfriends. The media knew that. They didn't report it. Lisa Marie and Debbie Rowe do not define Michael's love life. Yeah. Brooke Shields, Tatum O'Neal, they don't define his love life. These are women that he had messed around with was with publicly that all trashed him in some capacity.
And speaking of,
Michael was a good guy.
Yeah.
He respected women. That's on record. I'm focused on being consistent. Consistency. These women are not consistent. These are women that stalk Michael, wanted to hang out with Michael, then change the story when Michael didn't get them what they wanted. No, we're not playing that game. So I don't care what the media thinks about Michael's relationship. They think that his love life has to be determined by white women who are messed up to begin with. Then they don't know Michael. And they don't. Michael respected women. He gave them a platform. He gave them a time to shine. Look how he treated his mom, his sisters, his daughter, the nieces and nephews. He looked nieces. Is the women he looked out for them. It's not his fault they turn around and be full of shit. Anyway, go ahead.
And I'm not sure if I want to discuss this or not, but there is also the whole mystery with BG's mom, and I'm not sure if I'm able to discuss that or not, or if it's discussable.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it's a mystery. I think that this is a race issue, and I'll tell you why. Michael told two stories in the Bashir interview. I get it. I know. I saw the whole thing. I believe that Michael was lying in the second time because Michael is private. He was very private with his love life. He just did not tell people. He didn't even tell members of his family. Okay? That's how it is. That was how it is with Michael. That doesn't mean I should automatically assume this boy came from a surrogate. There's no evidence. And trust me, there's none. And so I said, okay, well, what is the evidence out there that proves he could be that this is between, Blanket King or BG has a mother that Mike had a relationship with. Well, in 2002, that year, but before the news broke, Michael did the Sony protest in New York. There were fans that said they saw a woman carrying a baby. They said the woman was light skinned carrying a baby. So, Blake was born in February of 2002.
Yeah.
Found out after he died. After Michael died, when he was born. So, okay, fine. I remember reading that vividly here and there. Then, Michael went to go visit Siegfried and Roy August of 2002. And that's when Siegfried and Roy, many both first in peace, are musicians that were very good friends with Michael, or illusionists. I don't know what they are. They love Anno. Michael's very good friends. So he brought BG or Blanket over to meet with them. And that's when the rumors were confirmed that Michael was a father again. It spread like wildfire. There was a producer named Gary Pughley who produced the World Music Awards. He came forward and told People Magazine and Access Hollywood that the baby was conceived naturally, and I think he said was conceived naturally and was not adopted, or something like that. So that rules adoption, that rules out surrogacy, adoption, and whatever. So now, that's the story that was after 2002. Then in 2003, when the Bashir interview was aired on television, Michael told Bashir about Blanket's mom. This part does not get spread in the fan community. And the reason why I think it doesn't get spread in the fan community, and this is just my opinion, because the fans know the mother is black or not white or fully white. And they are not, I'm not saying fans in general, the majority of them, because they're obsessed with this man with white women more than they are obsessed with the truth. But when it comes to this subject, they don't want to believe Michael mess around with black women and have children with them, whether the black woman is light skinned or brown skinned, because I don't like to talk about who I know. I was friends with a woman named Monica Harris, and she came forward in 2005 and told her story about her time Michael, and the fans were nasty to this woman. I mean, evil to this woman. So it's clearly because she's black. I don't want to hear, oh, she said something, this and that. No, it's because she's black. But anyway, I just feel like because Blanket's mom is not a white woman, fully white woman, I believe that's why fans ignore what Michael told Bashir while he was comfortable, he was relaxed, and he just simply told him, because Michael does not do this. And simply said that this is a woman he had a relationship with when he was asked. This woman he had a relationship with, and that she doesn't want to come forward because she thinks the media is scumbag. That's what he told Martin Bashir. Now, Martin Bashir didn't believe him. And I'm going to get into why I think that's the case in a minute. So then Martin Bashir goes and asks Michael again about Blanken's mom. And so Michael starts to pick up, okay, this guy is being ridiculous right now. This is when this fool was so-called confronting Michael about certain things in the interview. This was how Martin Bashir was manipulating how he was going to handle the interview. So Michael just simply said she's a surrogate, this and that and that. None of that makes sense because Michael had trust issues. So I seriously doubt that he was doing that. And if he wanted to do this surrogacy thing, he would have done that years ago. He didn't need to do that in his mid-40s. Also, the reason why I think Martin Bashir would ask that question because Martin Bashir was on the mission to promote Michael as a homosexual and a pedophile. So for him to dismiss, to ask him again about Blanken's mom, tells me that Martin Bashir had an agenda from the moment he was there to meet Michael, and that was to find out if Michael was an actual pedophile. Remember that story that that asshole Yuli Gruller stated he did hypnosis on Michael to see if Michael was a child molester? These animals are so evil. I mean, this is what he had to deal with, and you see why Michael trusted nobody. They can't even be this guy's friend, but the same industry that had the nerve to go and say Michael is this and that are friends and party with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you see the bullshit that you're seeing?
Yeah.
And why I get mad when I see this?
Yeah.
This is what Michael had to deal with. You know how many shitloads of performers are pedophiles?
Mm-hmm.
David Bowie, after he died, 5 women came forward to him. This man was harming them. No one brought this up when he was living at all. But Michael can't even rest in peace without clowns saying all kinds of shit about him. And so, I believe Martin Bashir did what he did to get it out there that Michael is this pedophile and he's a homosexual. And rumor has it that Martin Bashir was working with Vinci Gutierrez on this Living with Michael Jackson garbage.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot.
And with BG's mom, the promotional guy. So the promotional guy stated that he was in a relationship with BG's mom in 1999, and they broke up when she was pregnant.
In 2001.
Okay, the year I was born.
She when she found out she was pregnant, it had to be 2001 because he was born in February. So probably like May of February 2002. So probably May of 2001. So that would be 9 months prior. That's probably when they broke up. And the promotional guy said all kinds of. I don't believe. Okay, let's put it this way. I'm gonna say this, and how this goes on, I don't know. There is a fan who was on Square One that worked in it, and maybe still do work with a woman named Denise Rich. Denise Rich is a songwriter and a socialite who knew Michael since Michael was a teenager. She did internship for Denise Rich in 2003 to 2004. And she also spoke to the promotional guy, and they have similar stories about Blanken's mom. So on Square One, she's interviewed in Square One as the person who went to school with Jordan Chandler. So that woman knows some information about Blanken's mom. she was an administrator on the message board, the King of Pop message board. And they had a section on that message board called the Hideout. And you had to in order for you to know what's going on in the Hideout, you have to know some people on the message board and put you there, but you cannot tell people what's in the Hideout. And without saying too much, I've never been in the Hideout, so I don't have anything. Without saying too much, I've been told that they discuss a lot of stuff on there they will never tell people publicly. So, like I said, I don't believe Michael blanket came from surrogacy. I believe that was a relationship Michael had with the mother. It was a private relationship, and she just ended up pregnant. So they figured out how they're going to raise him. He mostly hang out with his father, and blanket turned out fine. So if he probably does have a relationship with his mom, we don't know. That's private. But the media won't know because they're not interested in showing Michael as a straight man anyway. And like I read to you what the promotion guy said, when he mentioned he doesn't fit any stereotypes of what a black man should be, which makes people uncomfortable and enables them to believe anything sinister about him. If you need proof of that, just look for no further than this message board, and it's right. Who are you? What are you? Are you gay? Are you straight? Are you a pedophile? And they're looking for something that would stick on it. Are you asexual? Are you this? Are you that? So they're looking for something that would stick. And unfortunately, Michael messing around with kids stick. Because he mostly hung out with kids and they were mostly male. And so people, and it just had and then thanks to Vincent Gutierrez and his disgusting mind, it became a life of its own. And so,
And speaking of the whole asexual thing, I remember a few months ago listening to your review of Teresa Gonçalves' book, and she kept mentioning Michael being asexual, which, in my opinion, is proof that she never had any relationship with Michael.
Mm-hmm. Teresa Gonçalves is a praise fan, and I already broke down on him in the book. Broke down in my podcast a review of her book. I'm gonna tell you what I think could be it. I don't fully believe they had anything going on because he was not consistent. She went on television and called Michael asexual. Then years later, she said no, she had a relationship with Michael. Michael told her not to tell anybody, so she didn't tell anybody. First of all, you could have said that in 1991. You didn't have to call Michael asexual. You don't have to give Michael never said he was ever asexual. Michael said he was straight. You don't have to give him a sexual orientation because you didn't have anything with him. Just say, look, I had a relationship with him, and I said, you don't have to tell anybody anything. They still won't believe you, but you don't have to tell anybody anything. But you don't have to call him asexual. Okay? She was obsessed with Michael. She wanted to be with Michael. Whatever. Now, in her book, she starts telling a story about her story with Michael and all that. I was told, like I said in the podcast episode, that she took her story from somebody else and made it her own. It could be true. She could very well have done that. The problem with Teresa Gonçalves is she was obsessed with making fun of his looks, his hair, and his face, and that turns me off because Michael had a skin disorder, and he was going to get that skin disorder regardless. But Teresa looked funky looking, and I don't think Michael was going to be into women like that. So I don't believe that they had anything going on. I used to communicate with Teresa Gonçalves, but I stopped because she was spreading really nasty rumors about Michael's child. So because of that, I'm not talking to this woman anymore. This woman is foul. So she's another crazy fan. I mean, she will. If she had a relationship with Michael, okay, so what? Maybe, like the Billie Jean story. It's not about her. Michael told people what Billie Jean's about. It's not about her. Her situation with the father of her oldest son. The father of her oldest son told a fan that Teresa is not telling the truth. So, and then she tells her story to Star Magazine, a tabloid. She claims Michael told her to go ahead and do that and make sure you get paid so you can take care of your son. I don't think that happened. I don't think that thing situation happened. I think she went to the tabloids on her own and got paid to use that money to feed her child. So a lot of these people, they just lie. They just make up stuff. I don't know if Michael and Teresa were ever a couple, if they had sex or whatever. If it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. But she's not consistent, and she makes fun of his looks, and she got a nerve to give him a sexual orientation. Like, who asked you to do that? You're not. You aren't. You couldn't stay with a man. You can't get married. Your sons don't have a good relationship with you, and you got the nerve to go and give a sexual orientation to some guy because he didn't pay you any mind. This lady is a cuckoo head. So.
And like Teresa and Shayna, they're both exactly the same. They're both crazy, bitter fans. They both have made comments about Michael's looks and among other things.
You mean Shayna and Teresa?
Yeah, they're kind of alike in so many ways.
Yeah, they're very, very similar. As a matter of fact, Teresa actually felt bad for Shayna because Shayna was getting attacked. I'm like, okay, Shayna wrote the book as things that people should accept what she says about Michael because she wrote it. She knew him. She doesn't know Michael. She knew him. She saw him because she was secretary for his manager, but she doesn't know him. They didn't hang out. They were not cool. So she even called him gay because he paid her no mind. Michael's not gay because he didn't pay you any mind, Shayna. Michael is not gay, period. He don't want you. Your looks are not impressing him. It's more than just looks to him. He wants to see, can you be compatible? Can you be a wife, a mother? Which you're none of those things. So he made his point. Yeah, but Teresa is outside check. I don't talk, so I don't care what she does. I blocked her years ago, so I don't really care what she does. Cause I can't be cool with somebody that trashes somebody's children. I don't get that. But anyway, yeah. What else? What's the post we got to talk about?
Stephanie
so yeah, that
Mills?
was Stephanie Mills. Okay. Yeah, I don't believe Stephanie Mills and Michael had a relationship either, only because I interviewed a woman named Star Hayes. And Star Hayes was with Michael around the time Stephanie Mills was with Michael. And she asked him, about her. And Michael told her they were friends. I believe it. I don't think Michael and Stephanie Mills had a relationship. Stephanie Mills went on to go say she didn't believe Michael had a skin disorder. Well, Michael didn't want to be black. She didn't say Michael didn't want to be white. Michael had a skin disorder. He got it from his father's side of the family. So Stephanie Mills wants to act like she knows Michael more than Michael himself. It's comical. Todd is going to put this idiot on his docu-series. And I'm like, why? I mean, go find the actual girlfriends, Taj, and not a fake one. So I don't know what to do with that because, they don't listen to the Jacksons don't really listen to fans like that unless they need our help. But anyway, Stephanie Mills and Michael were friends. Maybe they kissed, who knows? But I'm not convinced that was his girlfriend if that's what's coming out of your mouth about his skin disorder. Then she said she had to stop hanging out with him because of the people he was hanging out with. She didn't like what they were about. Like, he was trying to get her to become a big star, in the music industry. And she didn't do what he told her to do. So that's why she's limited to what she's limited to. Because she didn't do what Michael told her. She was too focused on the wrong thing. And remember, she has a nasty attitude. That could be another reason why she didn't have a career that blew up. But anyway.
May I list off some more women if you have time?
I have plenty of time.
A woman I would like to mention is Tatiana Dubson, and I know that...
Oh, it's a good thing you were talking about her because let's get into that because Tatiana Thompson, okay, Tatiana Thompson, what a character this lady is. Let me tell you my situation with her. On my blog, it is now removed, I did an interview with her on my blog back in 2012. And I regret doing the interview. This lady literally asked me, am I going to get paid for this interview? I'm like, what? No. I told her, man, I don't do that. And that's when I should have said, you know what? I don't want to talk to this lady, because if you need to get paid to tell your story, then I don't want to talk to you, because it doesn't cost anything to get paid. To tell your story. I'm not paying people to tell. I mean, all the people I interview, that's the only person that asks if I'm going to get paid, if she's going to get paid for the interview. That's the only person that asked me that. Everybody else had never asked me that. So I thought that was odd. Now, she on Rhythm of the Tide website, they list all the stuff Tatiana was doing. By the time she met Michael, up until the last time that website was updated. And she did another book. I didn't bother reading that book. It's called The King of My Heart, and that's when she breaks down her time with Michael, but I don't care about all that. I want to read something she said when she met up with Prince. She did a book called Prince the Singer. She did a book called Once More with a Feeling. It was released in 1996. Pages 217 and 218. She met with Prince, and I'm going to read to you what she said. She said, Prince and I lost touch for about 4 years. We met by chance one night at a club and started talking about an interview I had given to the star during the scandal involving Michael and the underage boy. Prince, who was upset with me for having spoken to a tabloid, attacked me for comments that were attributed to me in the piece. I did an interview to be supportive of Michael, but part of the article came out twisted and negative. Prince was bothered by a line that quoted me as saying that Michael would never get married. In truth, I never actually said that, but it didn't matter to Prince. Did you need the money that bad? He asked me. Are you that poor, that broke, and you have to sell your story to the tabloids? Actually, I have been having a very rough time financially, and the Star offered me $5,000 to tell the story of my experience with Michael. Unfortunately, the tabloid made my story sound very different from what I had really said. It was a learning experience for me, but Prince couldn't and wouldn't forgive me. I never saw him again after that. He was probably afraid that I would sell the story of our friendship one day. Well, here it is. This time, however, you're reading a simple truth without distortion. You know, Tatiana is a pathetic human being. Very selfish and stupid. And she's your typical groupie. And this crazy bitch, this crazy woman doesn't understand that when you go to the media and you sell story, you're making money, and it's wrong. These celebrities have to deal with that. Tatiana's stupid ass don't have to deal with that because she's not a celebrity. She's a literal nobody.
She was just a video girl that appeared in one video and kissed Michael on stage.
Okay. Michael, which was her idea, Michael had no problem in it. Matter of fact, she was not fired for that. She was fired, according to her, because her manager asked for too much money, and Frank DeLeo said Michael was cheap and he was not going to pay her manager that much money, so he let her go. That's why she got fired. So this dummy knew, or probably always knew, why she got fired, but she was running around. Cheryl Crow took my spot. I gotta figure out why I'm not hanging out with Michael anymore. She spent her whole 30s and 40s figuring out why she's not hanging out with this guy anymore, when she knew the whole time why she was fired. Was Michael gonna talk to me again? Was he gonna say, man, get the fuck out of here? You're an opportunist. That's what you are. You didn't make it in the business because you're not talented. When the business took talented people seriously. Yes, the business is cutthroat, but you are you're no better than the piece of shit that make money off him, of these celebrities. You know? So when people want to feel sorry for, I don't feel sorry for Tatiana. Tatiana sells people out like that. It's a learning lesson for me. No, you got your $5,000 from Star Magazine, to tell fables about him, and they can write whatever they want to write in their magazine because your stupid ass wanted the money more than doing the right thing. You can get a job, you can work, you don't want to. Oh, they'll recognize me for the music video. Okay, do something else. Sometimes you might have to be broke for a while. That happens. But your integrity is more important than, looking good. If you didn't like how your life was going, change it. You can always change your life. You don't have to do that. You don't have to lie on. You don't have to go pass it on somebody. But Tatiana is scum. Like a lot of people, like a lot of people who sold Michael out. Like Teresa Gonzalez, who I believe went to the tabloids and sold Michael out too. She just won't admit to it. They have no integrity. They just make up stories because why not? It's the best time to make up stories is now. At the time when money can be made.
And then another woman I like to bring up is the mysterious Oakland artist that Michael was engaged to during the Dangerous era.
I believe that story, actually. I believe that story because it makes sense to me. Let me see if I can... let me see. Do I have that? I need to check. Hold on. No. I talked about that. You know what? Okay. I'm going to pull it up on my end. I'll put it here. Okay. Alright, hold on. I'm making this thing move. Okay, come on. So, I know I put it over there. Hold on. I'm going to put this, hold on a minute, please. Okay, hold on a minute. I must have skipped it. So I want to talk about that. Okay, found it. Okay. Alright. So... Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it. Sorry, because yeah. It has been hacked. Oh no. Oh. Sorry about that. Okay, let's talk about that. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, I found it. Oh, see, I didn't have to go here. I could have just went here. I'm sorry. Today is... Alright. Hold on. Okay, let's talk about her. So it says here, according to Rhythm of the Tide, it is from 1989 to 1992, unknown African Oakland artist. So let's look. I'm trying to click on this link, but it's not letting me. Why? It's weird. Okay, give me a minute. Okay. Let's talk about it. What do you want to talk about?
The whole story of the mysterious Oakland artist.
Okay. So it says here, according to Michael's friends, Michael Jackson reportedly proposed to a woman around 1989 to 1992. There isn't very much specific information about this woman available For all the info compiled here seems to be consistent with a possible relationship. So it says, okay, so it talks about, okay, let me see. So Teddy Riley, let me read this part. He said it in 2009. Teddy Riley says he knows, but wouldn't publicly disclose who Remember the Time was about. I was always that friend he could say anything to. He expressed a lot of his most deepest concerns and feelings about a lot of things. I know some personal relationships that he has gone through, female relationships and different things like that, but I would never disclose that stuff I know. When we were working on Remember the Time, we actually stopped. We played the music, but that was actually the 5th song. The 5th track I played for him. He stopped me, and I thought I would be kicked off the project. He took me to the back. I thought he was going to lecture me, you know. He say that I did this chord wrong or something. He was like, play that on the piano, and he took me to the back just to see if I could play. I played it on the piano. He said, that melody, everything is just great about this song. And what I want to do to this is to be full of love. He said, I can't say who I'm writing about, but I know this is going to be the second single. He said this while we were playing the track. Okay, and then the interviewer pipes in and asks Teddy Riley, every ever told who he wrote the song about. Teddy said, no, I know who it's for, but I can't say who. I would never. I mean, we're close, but even when we signed a disclosure agreement and everything, he said, you can talk about it, but I'm like, no, I'll never talk about it. It's like a secret I would keep for my book. Okay, then it says, Michael's poem on the back of a painting, Valentine's Day, February 1991. So it says on here, I can still feel you with me, even though you're blank, far above. I love you so completely. You are my only love. Okay, he said it in 1991. Okay, and then then a tape conversation that Michael had with Glenda's husband, Stan. About something. And then that's when he talks about it. Let me see. I'm reading now. And it is in the Glenda tapes. These are the Glenda tapes. Okay, and it says on it what he's talking about. Okay, song about a secret relationship in the closet. So keeping something in the closet, and he talks about it. Of course, in the closet lyrics. What could he be talking about in that song? Now, Kid Culkin, the father of Macaulay Culkin, he claims that Michael confided in him that he had someone in mind to marry in 1992. I still remember a couple of things that Michael had said to me about a year or two following my first coming to know him in 1990. The first had to do with the possibility that one day having children of his own. I may be the one to put the question or openly wonder simply out of general interest as to what he would have to say. I can no longer remember. But I do recall him telling me that he was thinking of getting married and his adding almost futury that he actually has someone in mind. I can recall further that in my own mind, my own business sort of way, New Yorker as I can never help but be, I didn't take the bait and ask who. But even if I had, I rather suspect that he wouldn't have confided in me, although I could be wrong. Okay, now, Dancing the Dream, called Two Birds. It's hard to tell them how I feel about you. They haven't even met you, and no one has your picture. So how can they even ever understand your mystery? Let's give them a clue. Two birds sit in a tree. One eats cherries while the other looks on. Two birds fly through the air. One song drops like crystal from the sky while the other keeps silent. Two birds wheel in the sun. One catches the light on his silver feathers while the other spreads wings of invisibility. It's easy to guess which bird I am, but they'll never find you unless they already know a love that never interferes, that watches from beyond, that breathes free in the invincible air. Sweet bird, my soul, your silence is so precious. How long it will be before the world hears your song in mine. Oh, that is a day I hunger for. Okay. Now, Michael and the Nymphs. Brett Strong painting, commissioned early 1993, based on the pre-Raphaelite Waterhouse painting on the right. Okay, Waterhouse, Hellas and Nymphs, brings to life a version of Greek myth, Jason and the Argonauts, as told by William Morris in The Life and Death of Jason. In Morris's version, Hercules is left on the island of Lemnos, after his companion, the handsome Hellas wanders away from the ship. Hellas comes across a group of sea nymphs who, enchanted by his beauty, seduce him into loving them, eventually dragging him into the seawater with them. The Argo leaves Hercules and Hellas behind on the island, and Hellas is never found. Okay. Flo was considering marrying an artist with an African-type name. Michael was considering marrying an artist with an African-type name by Flo Anthony. I do know he dated an artist from Oakland, California area in the 1990s who he was considering marrying. She had one of those African-type names. Okay. Now, then she goes on, she did another interview, this is what she said. There's a tabloid story in the early 90s about a security guard that supposedly stole, I guess, a photo of Michael in a hot tub with two women. I wonder if there was any truth to that story. And I also wanted to ask you about Liza Minnelli. She came out a few months ago and saying that Michael had proposed to somebody in the early 90s and she turned him down. I don't remember the hot tub story picture, but he had a lot of hot tubs, so that could be true. And Liza saying that he proposed to her, was she? No. I thought he was actually engaged to this chick that lived in the Bay Area of California that was an artist. Oh, the Oakland. So I thought they were actually engaged. Oh, and what happened? I don't know what happened. But then they broke up. I always thought they were actually engaged. In fact, and Candace go back to her archives, I believe I said that on the Joan Rivers show, she had one of those funny African names, Yazabazi or something like that. I don't really remember the girl's name, but it was one of those type of names. So that's all we know about the Oakland story, Oakland woman.
Yeah, I doubt she'll come out public.
Yeah, he's not coming. They're not coming forward. They're not coming forward because, they're not.
And another thing to bring up is Brownstone, because it's been alleged.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's been alleged that Michael had a fling with one of the members of Brownstone. And
now, where did you hear this from? Because I heard this rumor too. And I don't know. I never mentioned it on my end because I didn't really pay no mind. You never know. But where did you hear this from?
I remember looking it up online on Lipstick Alley, and it stated that he had an affair with one of the members of Brownstone, but it was either Mimi or I forgot her name, the one that passed away.
Okay.
Maxine.
I know Maxine. Maxine did pass away. I know she must have been. I know Mimi left the group, but then she came back. I don't know anything about that. I know I talked to somebody that knows Nikki Gilbert. I can see if I can ask this person if they would do an episode with me on my podcast and we can look into that subject. Because regarding Michael and women, because she was told some stuff too. So I don't know about this one. I think it could be true because they were around while he was married to Lisa Marie. So it's possible. I would have to go ahead and believe that one. I would believe that one.
Me too.
I would believe it. I think something happened. It's either Mimi or Maxine. I'm leaning towards Maxine. I don't know why. I'm just leaning towards her for some reason.
And I know that this woman is private, and I'm not sure to bring up her name or not, but I first heard of the Ramonica Harris story, through you.
Yeah, that's my friend. I did say on Twitter, I will not talk about their relationship because it's private. She's not on social media, and Michael, of course, is privacy. He wanted to be private. She did do an interview. It's uploaded on YouTube, and I recommend people to listen to it because that's pretty much the relationship. It wasn't like it just got to the point. The reason why is because when Monica came forward, she was treated very badly. It was horrible, and these fans were really nasty towards her. So, I don't like to talk about her simply because they don't believe her. They think she's lying. They just don't believe it. They really didn't like when she said she met Michael when she was 16 and a half years old. And they were trying to imply that she messed around with him when she was a teenager. But nowhere did she ever say that. She just said that she met him when she was 16. Now, she said this around the time of the trial era, and I understand everybody is heated and on about it, but Michael met Presley when Presley was a kid, and no one had a problem with that because he ended up marrying her when she was an adult. But this woman said she met Michael when she was a teenager, literally 16 years old, and everybody is about to cut her head off. So it has to be some type of racial thing going on.
Because I feel like with the MJ fan community, they want to whitewash Michael's love life.
They want to whitewash his whole life. I mean, why do you think they're obsessed with his friendship with Elizabeth Taylor? He had more of a bond with Goddess Knight than Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, that friendship, even some of their fans that want to believe he would have a relationship with that woman. A romantic relationship. Yes, Michael liked Elizabeth Taylor. Of course. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. I believe that Michael really did love this woman. He really loved her. He was really friends with this lady. But she is another story. Her connection to Arnold Klein. That she blocked Michael's parents from checking up on him when he was going through his problems in the 90s. Red flags all over the place. She's friends with David Geffen. She's friends with, she's very good friends with Sandy Gillen. Elizabeth Taylor is worshipped in Hollywood, okay? We're not going to erase the good she's done in the world. I'm not even sure she's the godmother to Michael's children, to be honest with you. MJ fans don't care. I think what it is she's a white woman, and she's white, period, and they want Michael to be connected to them. A lot of these fans are white, and Michael being a black man, they probably never been around black people, especially European fans. They never been around black people. So, when they see Michael, they see how black people are supposed to be, and they judge everybody black based on him. There's a few black artists that they like, or black artists that they like. They also like 3T. They like the way they operate because they're not threatening. That's the word I'm looking for. They're not threatening, and all that other stuff. And they see that in Michael. He's not a threatening person, so they're going to defend that. And the idea of showing that Michael cared for his people, Michael had friends who were not just white, they were black or whatever, that bothers them. They don't want to dwell on Michael's blackness like that because it leaves them out. when Michael is around the white people or the white friends, it makes them feel included. I mean, to this day, I remember when MJ fans attacked Catherine Jackson because of the A&G trial. I didn't even think that was possible. I gotta say, Joseph, I get it, but Catherine, all because she wanted to find out what happened to her son. What did A&G do to her son? And the fans were like, "Oh, she's doing it for the money." Why would she need the money if she's getting paid by the estate? Because she's a beneficiary. So these people don't care about his blackness at all. And it's a shame. You know, they hate, and it's understandable to hate Oprah, but if they were two people they hate the most, no, I don't want to say it like that. I mean, again, it took them how long to see that Debbie was bad news? It took them a long time to see that. Even on the website I'm on, Lacianica Smiles and Rhythm on the Tide, which is an update of Lacianica Smiles, done by the same person. This same person who did these blogs, websites, did not want to add Monica Harris' story on there, but she added Shana Monica, who's a liar. She added the Debbie story that's not true, but she won't add Michael. She won't add Monica's. What did Monica say that bothered you so much that you won't add her story on here? So it didn't even put somebody on there that had one situation with Michael. She was America's Next Top Model, if you remember that show.
Yeah.
And she was on there. She was on the website mentioned, and all she had, like, let me read.
Oh my God! The meeting early.
Oh wow! Let me find it. Hold on. Yeah, that's here. Oh. Yeah, it's going on 1 o'clock my end. Okay, let me look. Let me get on here and find it for you. This is where I don't understand the criteria of some of these fans. I'm trying to find where is the let's see. Sorry, they need to be quiet. I'm trying to find the. I'm trying to find the American Next Top Model situation that I just didn't understand. I'm sorry. I did not understand why. Why they added this girl on here, but not Monica Harris? It didn't make sense. Give me a minute. Let me look for it. Like, again, like with his friendship with Jane Fonda, like, why talk about this chick but not other people? So it is because of their race, you know. I'm gonna find this next time. I saw the other day. It is because of the race, you know what I mean? Like let him be with a random black person. You know, it's just weird. I don't get these fans. They're weird.
Yeah.
I cannot find it. Hold on. Why can I not find this thing?
Thing that
Yeah,
sorry to cut you off. Another thing that fans overlooked was, remember that versus battle between Teddy Riley versus Babyface, and it was either Teddy Riley or Babyface, but they stated how Michael wanted to date Holly Berry, and pretty much it was overlooked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think about that. I can believe it to a certain extent, but I don't know. I mean, she doesn't deny it, but I mean, he likes who he likes. Yeah, Holly Berry every guy wanted Holly Berry, so I can believe that. I believe it. I believe when people say he had questions. I believe it. I don't question that at all. But yeah, go ahead.
And I meant to bring this up with the whole Glenda Stein thing, like the whole.
Yes. Glenda, yes. I want to talk about Glenda. Okay, what were you saying?
The whole weird Glenda Stein thing, like, people bring up how Michael seems to have a thing for married women, and there was a speculation that Glenda and Michael had an affair based on the conversations they were having.
I think they did. I don't know why I think this, but think about it. Why would the husband record it? Why would the husband record it if he didn't suspect it himself? That's the main question I ask people. Because a man would know what another man is doing. Why would a single man continue to talk to your married wife? Your wife is married to you. Why does she keep accepting his calls? I think even the son alluded. The oldest son, he's pushing 50 now. This oldest son alluded that Michael and Glenda were messing around. Her own son was alluding that.
Yeah, I believe it.
I believe it too. I don't know who's going to confirm it, but I believe it. And a lot of fans, she was married. I don't think she was in a happy marriage, because why would the husband record conversation? He doesn't trust his wife. He doesn't trust his wife. So I don't believe it. I mean, I believe they mess around, but I don't believe when fans say they didn't have anything going on. Oh, they might have. And I don't think Glenda had anything to do with the recording. I think she didn't know she was being recorded either. So, I don't know whatever happened. I heard that Glenda has multiple sclerosis. I don't know if that's true. And I don't know what's going on with Sam. I hope he's okay. But, yeah. So, okay, I can't find this America's Next Top Model story. I know it's here, but I can't find it for some reason. But, yeah, so this website will add nonsensical stuff. But, okay, can't open this page. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I can't find what I'm looking for. And okay, beginning. Okay, so, but, a woman who told her story is on YouTube. You won't even add on your website because you think that you think one of Michael's family members told her to come forward. No, they did not tell her to come forward. She came forward on her own. She says nobody tells her what to do, and that's true. Nobody tells Monica what to do. I know because I was her friend, and I tried to get her on social media, and she will not get on social media. So I know for a fact that is the case. Those people. The person who made this website don't know for a fact because she never talked to her. She claimed she talked to her, and she claimed that Monica told her these things, and she said it's a list of y'all. I said, Monica doesn't have a daughter. So Monica has 2 sons and a niece. She doesn't have a daughter. I've seen her kids. So. But they'll lie and make up stories because they don't want it. They don't want that person there. It ruins their view of how they want to see Michael. I remember when fans got upset when Michael told Foxy Brown, the rapper, she was pretty. And some fan was like, what is he talking about? Where's her pretty at? Like, first of all, your standard of beauty is not the same with everybody's standard of beauty. So for you to try to come at this lady's looks because you don't think she's pretty, it's laughable. It's not about you. It's about Michael. Michael thought Foxy Brown was pretty, and so be it.
The next few women I want to bring up is Diana Ross, Janelle, Penny, Kamisong, Ola Ray, Seta Garrett, and Star Hayes.
Okay, let's start with Diana Ross. I don't know. I go back and forth here because I'm not sure if they had a relationship. They had a relationship, but I'm not sure if anything sexual happened or it did. It leans towards something sexual happened. He just won't tell people. But Diana Ross did a number on Michael and messed him up, like the promotion guy said. Yeah. I can believe that. She did a number on him. I think she manipulated him. I think she got him to believe that she was gonna be everything for him, and it just didn't turn out that way. So that's what I think.
And plus, Diana Ross, she was like the J-Lo of the 1960s. I don't know if that would be a good adjective, considering that she slept with half of Motown.
Yeah, Barry Gordy and Eddie Kendricks, probably Smokey Robinson. Unfortunately, Michael, I even read somewhere she liked Jackie, or Jackie and her mess around. So that could be true. So no, I think they had something going on. It's clear, but Michael, thank God, got rid of her. Not in a bad way, but Michael wanted nothing to do with her afterwards. He moved on from her. So. Janelle Kansami, I believe her story. I think they were going to have a relationship. I think she had a boyfriend at the time when she was talking to Michael, but you never know, might not be working out with a boyfriend, but I think it's true. I mean, they hung out. He liked her a lot, so I think it's true. Star Hayes is friend of Michael. She knew him to the 60s up into his passing, and as a matter of fact, I'm doing another interview with her for a podcast soon. I don't know when. She had contact with Graham King. She did have contact with Graham King in regards to the biopic, but she lost the contact and she was supposed to get it from the brothers, but I don't know if she got it. But I was hoping that her story would be in the in the biopic because of the history, but she never got a chance to get interviewed. So now I'm thinking, okay, all right, something anyway. So yeah, that's what's going on there with that. But she and Michael were very close; they were tight, and she talked about that in the interview I did with the first interview I did with Star Hayes. And that was the relationship. I know she's planning on writing a book, so she'll get into more detail with her time with Michael. And then what other person you said?
Ola Ray and Seta Garrett.
Okay, let's start with Seta Garrett. So I don't know what's up with that one. It's possible, because Michael liked who he liked. They were friends, they were tight, but that's about it. I don't think anything romantic happened. But again, she's another one that's going to write a book, and she might tell people what happened. So we'll see. Ola Ray already wrote her book. No, I'm not going to get it, but I had no desire to get her book. But she wrote in the book that she what did she say? She and Michael kissed. They made out, whatever. That Michael told her they could never be a couple because she posed for Playboy, and his mom would not accept that she posed for Playboy. She also said that she said something else. I forgot. Michael was going to have sex with her, but she was like, no, I'm not ready, or something like that. So he didn't have sex with her. Last time they saw each other was when it was in 1987. That's what she said. It was in 1987. They were in the studio, and Michael saw her as he was working in the studio, and he told her, "Hey, where are you going? Come hang out with us." And she said, "Okay," and she was going to get something, but she never got around hanging out with him. So that was the last time she saw him in person. Now, she later on, I guess she had some issues going on, and she started selling fables about Michael to the press, and then she started to sue because she wasn't getting paid for her likeness, all the garbage. Eventually, she got her money, and now everything is good for her. But she's a weirdo. She's another weirdo that I don't pay no mind. Like, I wouldn't even interview her for my podcast. She's not with it. So, yeah, she's another weirdo. Oh, let me see here. Okay, I think that's it. Did I forget anybody? Yeah, on your list, and you have any more?
I was gonna say Tatum and Neil Brooke Shields, but you already explained it about those two to an extent.
Okay.
And
well, let me say something about Brooke Shields. She did her documentary. I don't know what's called, Pretty Baby or something like that. And in the documentary, she claims that Michael only hang out with her because of her fame or something like that, or he wanted to use her fame to roll his. Like, he was the biggest. Again, he was the biggest star in 1984. Everybody was a Michael Jackson fan. Why would he need a has-been? And at that time, Brooke Shields was a has-been. Why would he need a has-been to boost his career? He didn't need her. So it's a facade. I don't know. Every time there's MJ stuff, she needs to be there. I don't need her in the Thriller Day documentary or this. Get her away from anything MJ. Okay, their connection was more PR than anything. They were friends, probably. They didn't have sex. No, Michael's not gonna accept her. They probably kissed. Okay, I can believe that. But that's about it. Everything else is in her mind. Michael didn't like her. Okay, that doesn't mean that she's telling the truth. It just means that Michael liked it. Okay, Michael liked Tatum too. Okay, but Tatum did what she did. She said what she said, and we don't care about her. Michael said that she should do some. I believe him. I believe what Michael said. Of course, Tatum's going to come forward and say, I would never do that. You didn't do that. Like, I mean, this is the same lady who said she didn't know she was snorting crack. So, I mean, what do you want me to say? And then, when she was married to the tennis player, John McEnroe, that in itself is a mess. And I recommend people to read his book, because he tells you the truth about Tatum in his book.
Yeah, like he even had custody of her children because she was on drugs.
Yeah. So I'm not going to believe somebody can get her life together. So it's that who couldn't get her life together. I mean, it's comical. It seems like a lot of these women think that this man is a nobody if he doesn't acknowledge them. And it's like, this is the biggest star of all time. He doesn't need your acknowledgement. You need his acknowledgement. Someone now hung out with Elvis Presley. You didn't even know she existed until he married you. Okay? You think everybody followed what Elvis Presley do? No. I mean, no. People moved on from that guy. No offense, but it's true. So, I mean, Michael gathers all groups of people together. That's something you cannot teach somebody that. So, I mean, all of these women, they just want Michael for themselves. And if Michael did not oblige to them, they attacked him. That's the only reason why they attacked him. He ignored them. He didn't want anything to do with them. Why Karen Faye said the nonsense he said, he fired her. Why Debbie Rose said the nonsense she said, He didn't like her like that, or at all. He didn't care about it. He didn't want to be with her like that. A marriage has to happen so that she can have something connected to him. Then she only cares about money. He doesn't care about those kids. So what does he need her for? And then laundry dispute. Tatiana Thompson. Michael didn't ignore you. Oh my God, I gotta look into why. Let me go. Why he ignored me? Let me go sell his off to the tabloid. Oh, the best you can do is go get a job. And it's like, some fans said, well, Michael can make it seem, well, not fan, but someone said Michael can make it seem like you cannot have closure because after he's gone, you can't have closure. Yes, you can. You can have closure if you choose to have closure.
And something that's been on my mind that I would like to bring up, and how Michael's it's pretty much like what there's like with his contemporary Prince, like they talk about his love life, like despite the fact half the women he dated, he all worked with them, and I want to ask, how's Michael's love life and relationships are treated or portrayed in the public compared to Prince's?
I think like with Prince, that's a good question. Prince and Michael are two different artists and two different personalities. They're only dissimilar because they were born around the same time. They're born the same year, around the same time, and they're musical geniuses. They're child prodigies, and that's about it as far as the comparison. And they blew up around the same time. That's about it as far as comparisons go. Prince promoted his girlfriends all the time. Every time with a woman, nobody questioned it. He promoted it. He didn't hang out with kids like that. He also had a childhood. Michael did not have a childhood. So he tried to get that through hanging out with kids and all of that. He promoted himself as Peter Pan and hung out with kids. He was also, his fame was astronomical, bigger than Prince's, okay? And that type of fame is going to attract a lot of crazy people. Also, Michael was an epitaph. So he will attract nothing but narcissists. So that's another factor you don't want to look into. Prince can be with any woman he wants, and yes, both men have to deal with gay rumors. But Prince can be with any woman he wants. They're not going to, they're going to still call him the gay word, gay, but, there are people that still can picture Prince with women. And to this day, people cannot picture Michael with women. It didn't help that the ex-wife pretty much exposed how fake their marriages were with him. They make it seem like he made them do it when he didn't want to marry them in the first place. So, why I'm frustrated, for example, why Monica's story is not out there, is because it can stop this. Her story can stop this nonsense. And people see that Michael got a woman of his chosen, not women he didn't want anything to do with, but women of his chosen. I mean, people can see that. When Monica talks about Michael, she talks about him like a person, not this spirit, not this fan type of thing or girly, godly type of thing, but like a regular person. And they don't want that out there. They want you to think he didn't like to be black, he didn't want to hang out with black people. That's not true. That's far from the truth. So it's a lot. So Prince can go ahead and be with any woman you want to be with. No one's going to question it. No one's going to question it. They're going to, even though there are people out there that think he could be gay, there are people out there that think, oh well, I believe he messed around with these women. It makes him look cool. It makes him look hip. Michael didn't do that. He didn't see the point of doing that. That doesn't mean that Michael wasn't, that doesn't mean anything really. I mean, he just didn't tell his business. And it worked for him, so it didn't. So, at the end of the day, it's the legacy that matters, right? That what they put on the table is what matters. And the women are going to come and go. There's still women that still hold on to Prince. There's still women. And there are probably a few that still hold on to Michael, but they're private or what, they don't want to come forward. So, I think that's what it is. I wouldn't compare those two love lives to each other because it's not fair. Everybody is different. And that's how the mainstream media operates. They think because you're black, you all do the same thing. and that's not true. And the mainstream media loves to do. That's one of the reasons why Michael suffers so much, because they would compare him. Well, why was he okay? Why wasn't he? Why is he not like his brothers? Why can he be like his brothers? Okay, he needs to be a brother that beats his women, beats his wife while she's pregnant with his child. Michael needs to be like him, or the brother that beat his wife, other brother that beat his wife, and she had to leave him, so he had to be like them. Or the brother who slept around and gave some woman STDs, he has to be like him. So that's what they do. They could never accept him for him. If he liked Peter Pan, so what? If he liked Disney, so what? You know who else liked Disney? Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a big Disney fan. You know? Everybody else can love kids. Michael can't. Everybody else can have issues with their family, whatever. Michael's not supposed to have an issue with his brother and sister, brothers and sisters. He's not supposed to have issues with his dad. It's like, what do they want Michael to be? And part of that is because he was a child star and he was introduced to the world as a child. So what do you do with children? You tell them what to do, and they never could see past. He did this music. He owned the catalog. He did these things. Even though it's impressive and wonderful, to this day, people are shocked that he was a businessman. I'm like, when are y'all going to get over this? You know? And they're not. Michael was who he was today. And I don't think people will come around and actually treat him like an adult until the real story about that side of him is told. The ex-wives, I mean, they should have never did that to him. Even if the marriages were fake, they could have still have respect for him. Now, why give the media something to beat him up with? Why not just go ahead and tell what happened, what really happened? If Presley was to tell people what really happened when she was married to Michael, it don't look good on her end, especially after you told me that Riley was mostly raised by her dad. So what does that say? You know what I'm saying? So making him look good was not going to happen. You know? And Diana Ross should have said, yes, Michael and me had a relationship when he was an adult, not when he was a child. But she won't do that. Which Joe's daughters, Rashida and Kadaya, can simply say, yes, we hung out with Michael. One of them hung out with Michael more than a lot of people there. Way more than Jay Sachuk lying ass. But they won't do it. They will never do it. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, this is what we have to deal with. And I think talking about this subject is important. The biopic is going to change everything. People don't understand this. Michael will be replaced by the nephew. That's what I believe. He's going to be replaced. I see it already. I see people manipulating the pictures and putting Jafar's face on Michael's body from the 70s.
And I see it as cringy.
And Kobe Domingo did an interview today saying that the movie is going to go to 3 decades of his life. I don't know what that means, but, you know, I guess it's 70s, 80s, and 90s, I guess. But I'm saying this to say that whatever is really going on with the biopic is not going to be for Michael. Anything John Frank can do is going to be trash anyway. Because John Franken is not in the business of telling the truth about Michael. He's in the business of making money. And he knows that fans are going to come there and support it no matter what. Like, I'm going to see the movie because I want to know what's in it. I want to know what they're going to talk about. And eventually they're going to talk about his love life. They're going to talk about these things. They might not even dwell on it. They might talk about something about Stephanie Mills and Adam Ross, maybe. That's what they're going to do. I have a feeling that they're going to dwell too much on the allegations against him. Like in the play, I knew of someone that saw the play, and you know, it's not good. It really dwells on Michael being this so-called drug addict. They're gonna alludes something about pedophilia, but not completely. And they're going to dwell on his issues with his dad. And it's like, okay, this is stuff we already know. So let's talk about stuff people don't know, and that is, stuff like his women, who were his actual girlfriends and all that other stuff. Because, when Brooke came forward, when Tim came forward, told their story to Michael, it was, it didn't help Mike. You know what I mean? It helped them, it didn't help Mike. So I think the biopic is going to do a damage in a way to his legacy. And this is the biopic that's going to last long. This is going to be generations from now. People are going to watch this biopic and they want to know who Michael Jackson was. And that's the official word. So anything the estate releases is an official word. Even if we can counterattack it, John Breaker's like, nah. This is what we're going to talk about. This is who he was. So, I mean,
I want to hear your final thoughts and your conclusion.
Well, in conclusion, I think that every Michael, this side of Michael needs to be told accurately and fairly. We need to talk about all of them, the good and the bad, what they said and afterwards. Not, I don't like this person because I think this person this and that. No, it's not about you. It's about Michael. Let's get all of the side of the story told. Let's get all of them to say what they want to say instead of other people doing it. And Michael's not here to defend himself, not here to confirm anything. Yes, he was private, but he did have girlfriends. He did have girlfriends. He did date. He did do those things. Those are the things that people need to know about. And yes, Michael dated. Yes, with the enormous fame he had, he found a way to date. He did. So that's really my final thought. And really though, this is a side of Michael that needs to be told, because people need to know, even if it's not all of it per se, is a lot. You're still finding more information every day. So like on my podcast, I will talk about this subject and add in more information if I find it. But the movie, the biopic, is going to be like an exaggeration of his life, in my opinion. I mean, they are interviewing people that knew him. Like, they interviewed his brother, they interviewed his mother, his children, probably his nieces and nephews, probably his sisters. But, sorry, that doesn't mean that's going to be true or accurate. So we'll see what this movie does to Michael.
Well, that was nice talking to you, Belinda.
Yes, same here. And sorry for all the craziness, because that wasn't my intention.
That's fine.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
You too.
All right.
Hello, guys and dolls. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Belinda. Be sure to check out Belinda's podcast, My Girl the Truth, alongside the sources used during this episode. And before I say my goodbye, I wish I could have stated this in the podcast, but it pretty much popped up in my head. I think the singer from the 80s that was hot back in the day could be Patty Austin. It popped up in my head after I made that podcast episode, but I think it could be Patty Austin, since Patty Austin and Michael did a song together called "It's the Funk with Love," and I wish that it popped in my head during the podcast. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And next week, in the next podcast episode, I'll discuss and review the movie why do fools fall in love, and dissect what they got right, what they got wrong, and what they left out or glossed over. And pretty much delve into other things I wanted to get into, like pop culture stuff, TV shows, TV episodes, and all that. But anyways, I hope you be sure to follow this podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever platform it's available on. Be sure to comment on this episode. If you want to contact me by email, CWXpodcast@outlook.com. But anyways, I hope you enjoy the episode. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.